Hello again. Now, the job of a nurse practitioner is not easy at the best of times, but during the 1970s in Northern Ireland, it was on a different level. Carol-Anne Cray is a retired nurse with 43 years' experience in the health service, and her memories inspired her to write Angel City, and the sequel, Echo of Angels, was published recently. And I'm absolutely delighted Carol-Anne can join me now. Thank you so much indeed for coming in.
Oh, thanks. It's a pleasure to be here, Pamela. Thank you for having me.
As I say, you were a nurse practitioner for 43 years. They say write what you know, but these books are not autobiographical.
Well,
they have to be based on what you know.
It is what I know.
Yeah.
They actually grew out of the City Hospital Cancer Centre. I had a journey with cancer myself, but this time I was back in 2022 with my partner who was going through treatment. And I actually was attending the Royal for an eye stroke as well. And I needed to find my happy place. And I don't know if you're familiar with the City Hospital, but there's Erskine House.
Yep.
I wave up 3 floors across, top floor, 13th floor. I wave across it myself because in there was a wee 17-year-old nurse. And I wanted to find her again because even though they were very dark days in the 70s, very dark and things we had to do, she had her life ahead of her, and I found that was a little piece of sanctuary. So while poor Tony was going through 7 weeks of radiotherapy every day, I was in 1975 writing the book because I wasn't writing a book, I was sitting in the book.
Yeah.
The memories were everywhere.
Yeah. But the characters are so relatable. It doesn't matter what profession you're in.
Yeah.
When you get 3 bosom buddies that just know each other inside out, that's so important as well. And it must have been lovely for you to also revisit the friendships that you had in those days. And we get through everything with humour too.
Yes, because as I said, it was dark, but we were young, we didn't know. We thought that was normal.
Yes.
We saw very dark things. I wouldn't expect any 17-year-old to deal with what we did. I even said in the book that, you know, people who couldn't live beside each other outside, there was walls separating people. Inside we had a curtain separating the same people.
Yes.
So we became a sanctuary for this neutrality because it was sad, you know, there was an awful lot of hatred out there on our streets, and it did spill into our wards. But somehow when we went into that nurses' home, friendship and fun and normal 17, 18, 19-year-old life kept us going.
But this one is moving on. The next one.
Yes, it is.
The Echo of Angels.
Yeah.
So where do we find them?
The actual books?
Yes. Yeah. Where are the girls? No, where are the girls?
Oh,
now?
where are the girls?
Yes.
Well, what happened was a lot of people contacted me after last year. I mean, 1,000 sold in the first 8 weeks. And then a lot of people were saying, please do a sequel, please. And even I had Stuart Miller say, I'll have your sequel on the shelf in September. And I thought, what? No pressure, but you don't say 2 things to a Capricorn who happens to be a nurse and throw her a challenge. So in January, I thought, maybe there is a sequel in this story. Maybe my girls shouldn't just stop at the door of Erskine House. So I took them 40 years on, planked them in a lovely room in the Grand Central for their 40th anniversary.
And we should say that's the hotel, not the train station.
Oh yes, the hotel. The hotel. They probably went through the train station. But I put the 3 of them back together, and what they did was they looked, all my memories rolled into, separated between them. I shared them between their history of 40 years of nursing. And it might have been working in Africa, which I did. Yeah. I worked in an AIDS hospice. Might have been Trek in Australia or Caminos. I did that too. So I shared it out. But the important part, I think, with Bridget, the character Bridget, was I'd visited Tuam when I was writing it. And I was very emotional about the Tuam babies.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and I thought,
gosh, yes.
I needed to give them a voice. So I picked the wild child, and she is the voice of the babies. She is my laundry baby. So their friendship, though, is the tapestry through this 40 years.
Absolutely. And as I say, it is so important for so many people, that friendships we had. You know, I grew up, I'm born at the end of the 1950s.
Yeah.
So the 1970s, I was going out to work as well. And you got on with it. You just did. So is there, I was going to say a sequel to the sequel, or a prequel, or whatever you call it now. Is there a follow-up? Is there a 3?
Well,
or is there something else?
Well, actually, the publisher did ask me to submit a pitch to somebody. So, I mean, I throw these things out to the universe, and these 3 girls are on their journey. I just sit in the back seat and go with them. I mean, you know, they've got me here.
Yeah, well, Caroline, that is the best way to put it. They're on the journey and you're sitting in the back seat and going with a fantastic ride and an emotional ride. You might have more.
I might have more.
Watch this
Ask them.
space. Ask. Well, okay. Right, Bridget, Anya and
Mary.
Mary. She's gone. How could I forget Mary?
I know.
Thank you so much indeed.
No, thank you for
And the
having
best
me
of
and
luck
my girls.
with Burke 3.
Thank you.
Well, now here's Brian Henry Martin with his entertainment tips for this week.